Hey y'all, it is September the 12th, 2020, 2024. And I thought I would jump on real quick tonight and share with y'all a couple of stories, and it shouldn't take too long. I don't got a lot of time. I don't know about y'all, but I got two stories, and I did label the live stream fairly damn accurately. All right, it was not clickbait. I'm gonna see if I can get my computer to like compromise and try to do what it is I want it to do. All right, and I wish I could split the screen and share the screen with y'all, and y'all could read along with me these here stories, but I can't. All right, I don't have that technology somehow to do that, but I'm actually looking at a computer right now. I'm gonna share it with you. I, but before I do, let me just start off by saying, and I've been saying it, I'm gonna continue saying it until it kind of carries out into fruition. That my prediction for the end of the year is some level of chaos, carnage. I see that there might be somebody up in the building. Big ups to you. All right. This one is dedicated to all the people out there who like to hear some stories sometimes. I got a couple of stories. They are both from San Antonio. They're actually both from this week, actually, you know, breaking news. That's what you get around here. But let me say what I've been saying. I'm going to continue saying it is that this country, myself included, we're under some sort of judgment from God. And in fact, He's taking the opportunity to give us a bit of a test, see if we pass. Not only in these times, but this has always been the case for people throughout history. But however, these times are quite bizarre. Some would call them wacky. All right. We got people eating dogs, cats, and ducks, and every single little pet that they can get their hands on in some places. All right, we're in some wild times, but okay. Let me just say that yeah, sure. There's like hundreds of thousands of children from abroad who have come to America only to become missing and undoubtedly either deleted or in some form of slavery, right? That's for sure happened. But even if that didn't happen, it's like, dare I say, that we just don't give two people up in a building. I'm blessed. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to share with y'all these two quick stories. And let me just tell you, too, also, neither one of these two stories I'm about to tell you make any damn sense. That's why I said 0 cents. Doesn't make any. I'm trying to make sense of it because I really honestly want to get down to the bottom of it. I want to truly know what happened in these stories, but so far, no idea. But they're also very young, and also they will probably not get investigated. I mean, if they get investigated, it's not going to be said in the news, and we're not going to know. We're probably not going to know. But not only the children that are brought here for political advantage by certain political people, and children end up here and totally disappear. Not only that, I feel like that we don't give enough to the children. We don't consider them enough. All right. And I'm including myself in that, you know. I'm not saying I'm above everybody. I'm saying we need to treat the children like they matter. That's what I'm suggesting. And I think that's a big reason. Not only the foreign children, but the domestic children. Need to treat them better. God does not appreciate what the hell it is we're doing. That's a big reason why it's the end of this country. It is the end of this country, right? So I wish somebody would get at me, bro, dude. I wish somebody would argue with me on that point. Nobody has to this point. End of the country, civil war. We're in it. We've been in it. We're in a civil war. We can't get out unless perhaps we find ourselves becoming more righteous, myself included. All right, so I got a couple of stories. I'm looking at one right now. You can't look at it right now unless you go ahead and check it out on the internet. First one I'm looking at right now, the headline is Tow Truck Driver Could Be Charged After 5-year-old Girl Found in the Back of a Towed Car. And I'm actually on News 4, the number 4, SanAntonio.com if you wanted to check it out. But also, I do understand, I saw it right before I came on. People Magazine actually went ahead and covered it as well. And I'm sure all they did was copy and paste because they're uh, the tip top of professionals over there at People Magazine. All right, I want to share with you this story, and it's not very long. It's not very lengthy. All right, but mind you, I told you it does not make sense at all. And of course, it warrants a thorough investigation. Will it get done? I don't know. Maybe, but we won't hear nothing about it. All right. Even People Magazine don't give a damn. I'm here to tell you. So it goes like this. A 5-year-old girl was discovered in the back of a car that was towed. The car was towed from an apartment complex near the intersection of Blanco and Lock Hill Selma Road. Around 10:55. Oh my god. Oh no. It's freaking amazing. See, somebody popped up in the building, at least for a moment, and I appreciate. See, last night we had some legends. We had my brother El Nino come through. That was amazing. But we also did have Bart Fine, who's an internet legend. I don't. I'm pretty sure Maitre Mark would know who Bart Fine is. I'm pretty sure because I've talked about Bart Fine well enough. Not only that, is Bart Fine has been all over the damn internet. I mean, he's definitely been in places where I didn't know that he was at. He's been in places where I would happen upon a place on the internet. I would hear somebody talking. All of a sudden, here comes in Bart Fine calling in, laying down the law, straight legend forever and ever. And he came to the broadcast last night. So have Maitre Mark here in the morning, perhaps enjoying a morning cigarette. I don't know if he drinks coffee and I don't know what he's doing. Over there, since we're going into the fall time, I would imagine that they're perhaps easing into the springtime over there. I know that they were having some bad flooding and stuff like that. I wonder how it's all going over there. I mean, I've checked out the videos lately. I need to make sure that I check out the rest of them, but I do want to know what it's looking like over there on that side of the world. So, but anyways, I was getting a little bit off track. I don't know how much did we read so far. Okay, yeah, 5-year-old girl discovered back of a car. The car was towed. It's not going to make any sense. All right. Around 10:55 a.m. on Monday, police responded to calls of an endangered slash missing child when a car was towed from the apartment complex. Preliminary information from the authority says that when police arrived at the scene, the mother of the child, where's the father? I don't know. Who cares? The mother of the child says she parked her vehicle and left it running with the hazard lights on while she went to contact one of her neighbors in another apartment. Just real briefly, I want to say it's already not making sense because they're not really being specific. They're not, but they probably don't have any details. It doesn't matter. They don't do their job well. See, you got the mother, it's already established. Okay, she's got her daughter in the car. She left the car running. The hazard lights are on. She went to contact one of her neighbors in another apartment. What does that even mean? Is it like a different apartment inside the complex in which y'all live? Because if that's so, why did you have to drive there? Later on in the article, it's going to talk about the mother is pregnant, but I mean, it could be different. It's not making any sense because, especially because we don't have enough details. Did she go to a different apartment complex close by, and technically that's her neighbor? And she went there, and okay, so let's get a little bit more information. She said, or it says, that's when she said a tow truck swooped in and towed her still running vehicle. So I don't know if I'd put it past him, but I didn't know people did that. I didn't know that people did that. That they tow your still running vehicle, that they're going to tow it away quick, fast. I don't know if I put it past. Andrew Trevino said, "Where's the father?" Who cares? Every time. I'm talking every time. Actually, the next video, the next story I'm about to share with you, the father is the star of this. He's one of the stars of the next story. So it's not every time, but it's damn near every time. All right. So the mother told the police that she never lost sight of the daughter. And this is where it's now it's making even more no sense. It's making even more, it's going maximum no sense. The mother tells the police that she never lost sight of her daughter while at the door, which has to be a lie technically, because, and we're going to find out why that's a lie. But however, maybe she means that she never lost sight of her car, which is not what the article says. However, they they're barely literate, right? It's just what it is. And it says she didn't lose contact until the car was towed. Never lost sight of her daughter, which is going to be an obvious lie, and didn't lose contact until the car was towed, despite initially saying that the vehicle was towed legally. And I had read in initial reports that the tow truck place, they said they towed it legally, straight legally. And that's what kind of like perked my ears, because they said, oh, we might charge the tow truck driver, we might charge him. But the thing is, y'all said y'all did it legally. So did you do it legally or illegally? It's very unclear. The police say that the driver failed to attach brake lights to the car or secure it with chains, as is required during a tow, swooping in and taking the car away quick, fast. Very quick, very fast. I would love to know the timeline, right? How fast can you do it? I wonder. The mother, who is also 9 months pregnant, to add another factor. So who's the father? Who cares? The mother, she's 9 months pregnant. She's fixing to pop any moment. She took off after her car and her daughter with a witness who was on the scene. However, the woman had a medical emergency and had to stop at an HEB parking lot near the corner of Blanco and West Avenue. And it says the woman, I really can't tell. Are they talking about the 9-month pregnant woman or her friend who may very well be a woman? I have no idea. It doesn't really specify. Police were able to contact the towing company. It's called Trinity Towing, and inform them of the situation. Trinity Towing issued a press release saying that at 11:30 a.m. So people must not have nothing to do on Monday morning. You must be living just carefree at 11:30 a.m. A tow truck driver was dispatched to the apartment complex for a vehicle parked in the fire lane. So this is why I'm not getting it. I just don't it doesn't make sense. Do you live in this complex? Oh, you went ahead and parked in the fire lane? What was the point of doing that? Was this person's apartment like a half mile away from yours or what? Like, how is this making sense? I need you to paint a picture. The thing is, this is none of my business. I'd be happier if you never told me about this. But instead, you tell me a half-ass version of just gobbledygook. The company claims that the vehicle was locked with the ignition off when it was towed, and there was no signs of the car being occupied. I get that. No signs of it. No signs of the car being occupied. And so now it's like a he say, she said. They said car was locked. They said the car was locked, the ignition off. The mother's claiming no, ignition on, hazard lights on. Somebody is lying or misremembering. Sense is no longer common. Hey, you got that damn right, May trademark. You got that damn right. But I think that at least three of us up in this building do have some sense. And I've been saying for a while now, just out in public, you know, I don't know if I probably said it on the internet. It used to be common sense. That's what all the old timers call it. They say, whatever happened with common sense? And it led me to understand that common sense, the phrase common sense is inaccurate, right? Because they say common, and of course, it's not common anymore. So the common sense is not common. Was it ever common? The answer is no. But it did seem common. Here's the thing: what I'm realizing common sense is the sense that God Himself will give you. Uh, you know, if you open yourself up to God, He will give you the sense enough to be able to navigate this world. And it used to be common sense. It used to be called that because a lot of people had it. Now, really, it's godly sense, a sense that He gives you as a gift if you're willing to accept it. All right, so somebody's lying. They said the car was locked, the ignition was off. Somebody's lying. Who is it? We later learned, this is a quote, we later learned a little girl was asleep on the floorboard. Mind you, as we keep going into this, it's going to make less and less sense, and it never started making sense to begin with. We later learned a little girl was asleep on the floorboard. See, this is why he didn't see anybody in the car. It's kind of hard to notice like a small little child asleep on the floorboard when we first towed the vehicle and was not visible to the driver, reads the press release. As the truck arrived to the towing yard, employees were informed that the child was inside the vehicle. Quote, while our driver followed all necessary protocols, this is what they say. And I have no reason to disbelieve them. I know somebody's lying. They said, while our driver followed all necessary protocols, the situation could have been much, much more serious. I tend to agree. Said Trinity Towing, we are relieved that the little girl is safe and unharmed this evening. The girl was reunited with her mother. They didn't say nothing about the father of outside of the towing company. That's where they were reunited. The vehicle has also been released from the towing lot. Maybe they didn't charge her. I don't know. The investigation is ongoing, and the driver could be charged with endangering a child. See, this is how they end the article, and of course, that was what was kind of insinuated in the headline. All right, is that the driver could be charged. I get it that the driver could be charged, and the driver also could be lying. I get it. The same exact possibility, in fact, it's even more probable, is that the mother should be charged and that she's lying. And let's just say it's equally possible that one of the sides could be charged and is lying. So how come you didn't bring it up in the article? Oh, I know the answer. It's because mothers really can't do anything wrong. Unless the child is actually losing its life, the mother, and even when the child loses its life, the mother almost can never ever do anything wrong. Even though none of this made sense at all to begin with. They found the child asleep. Remember, is this at the complex in which y'all live in? Why did you find it necessary to go park in the fire lane? Was that necessary? The answer is no. Are you lying about the hazard lights? I know you lied about you never lost sight of your child. How are you going to see your child when your child is asleep on the floorboard of your car? How are you going to never lose sight of her? How's that? I mean, I can believe that you didn't lose sight of your car. However, you lost sight of your car enough for somebody to tow it away. So how's that? It's like, okay, why was your child asleep on the floorboard? How does that make any sense? Who put your child on the floorboard to go to sleep? Did you? Okay, so you said you were going to go to your neighbor for whatever reason. I would love to know the reason. You were going to contact your neighbor who you had to wait on for some time. What did you say? Hey, I'm going to go contact our neighbor, sweetie. You feeling sleepy? I mean, it's 11:30 in the damn morning. You feeling sleepy? Go ahead and sleep on the floorboard until I get back. I'm gonna leave the hazard lights on and stuff like that. It's like, dude, none of this makes any damn sense. And somebody should be charged, but never the mother ever. All right, unless it's just ultra grievous, and I do believe it's pretty well grievous. I have no idea. I want to know the timeline. I want somebody to draw me a picture. Nobody's going to do it. If it ever gets investigated, you ain't never going to hear about it. But it's so damn important that we're going to write this news item about it, and also we're going to put it in People Magazine. It's so damn important. All right. So now, even better story, I gotta admit to you, even better, and it's more recent. I believe it's more recent because this article was published on September 11th, which, by the way, every single year, September 11th, when it comes around, that day doesn't even exist, and you don't exist either. Whenever you think it's September the 11th, you're in a damn coma and you're just dreaming it up like you're in the Matrix. It's not real. You're not real. Birds aren't real. Money's not real. People don't never die. That's not real. I just wanted you to know that. It goes from September the 10th to the 12th. There is no such thing as the 11th. But however, okay, so this story is even more. It doesn't make any sense. I got to let you know. And I would love to hear follow ups, and I will never get it because these people cannot do their job. They refuse to do their job with any sort of like respect for themselves. So check this out. This is on ksat.com, which is spelled KSAT. Uh, I'm not sure why it's called that, but it's called ksat.com. This is a news outlet here in San Antonio. It says BCSO, which stands for Bexar County Sheriff's Office, which is where San Antonio's at. Says a 5-year-old. I wonder if El Nino got it because he's always on top of this stuff. Did you hear about this? I believe yesterday a 5-year-old drove away from a store after being left in a car with 3-year-old sibling. All right, just absorb that. Absorb that, if you will. 5-year-old drove away with his 3-year-old sibling. All right. So deputies say the father of the children, Mr. Derek Deloach Sr., is facing criminal charges, and that I can definitely believe. All right. It's not too much he said, she said, but there are like a few details, and none of them make any sense. I promise you. If you can make some sense of them, please do, and let me know ASAP, because I like my brain is a pretzel from this. All right, so it goes like this. For the second time this week in Bexar County, this is the second time we know about, all right? Undoubtedly, it's happened many, 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 many times over that we just don't know about. So for the second time this week in Bexar County, it appears children left alone in a car have ended up in harm's way. The latest incident involves 2 children, 3 and 5 years old, who were left alone in a car outside of a Family Dollar store over there on the northeast Bexar County. So the Bexar County Sheriff's Office said deputies initially responded to a call about a crash Monday on North Foster Road near Lakeview Drive. And already, mind you, it already started to not make sense really, because they get a call from people talking about that there was a crash, right? But the article, however, says that when the sheriff's officer, the officers, when they arrived, they realized there was no crash. There wasn't a crash. There was a call saying there was a crash. There was no crash. Instead, they said they found out a 5-year-old not only had been behind the wheel of the car, but had backed the vehicle out into traffic. See, I had read an earlier article about it, and of course, my head was all abuzz with questions, the sort of questions that never ever come across the purview of any of these so-called reporters. I had many, many questions. We're talking about a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. The 3-year-old obviously was like a bystander here. There's many questions, but one question is, okay, they said this vehicle was running. But my question is, how does a 5-year-old, I don't know, maybe somebody's got an answer for me out here. How does a 5-year-old take a running car and put it into gear? And I just might be retarded, y'all. I admit that I'm retarded. How does he do it? Don't you have to put your foot on the brake and then put it into gear? I have apparently no idea what I'm talking about. And then I wonder too, as well, I was wondering, because this is in a store, in a parking lot. So it made me wonder myself, this is a 5-year-old. I was wondering myself, because I want to see a timeline. I want to see like a description, a diorama. I want to see of what happened here. What happened? One of my first questions, okay, how does he put it into gear? Secondly, did he ever back up? Because lots of times you're going to have to back up to get out of your parking spot and then pull off. And so it made me wonder, it's like, did this 5-year-old kid put the car in gear, and then did he back up? This is where my question was like, did he then back up, and then did he put it in drive? Like, this 5-year-old kid knows how to drive. How does he know how to drive? I don't know. It's a million questions. But see, that question wasn't even answered because they said that he had backed the vehicle out in the traffic, which I can imagine. I can imagine that happening, backing up out of the space, and just continuing to go back until you get to the entrance of the street, and then continuing to go backwards because you just don't know. You're a 5-year-old kid and you just don't know how to. Perhaps that happened, but we don't even really know because here's this. Witnesses told deputies that they saw. See, check this out. Witnesses told deputies that they saw the car back out of the store parking lot and onto the roadway, just like we had heard. Witnesses then noticed a child climb out of the car in the middle of the street. So I'm trying to picture this all in my head. The 5-year-old, he takes the car, starts backing it up, winds up backing it up into the middle of the street. How do you put it in gear like that? I don't know. Nobody's going to tell us, but he managed to do it. And then it seems to me, and it's like, maybe this is not the case, but I know that usually it's the case. Okay, they said the child climbed out of the car while he was in the middle of the street. You can imagine how terrifying that is to see that. He climbs out of the car. So, to me, what that means is he put the car in park. This kid fully knows how to drive. And for sure, within 2, 3 years, he's going to be driving down to the border and smuggling illegals. That is, if they even need to be smuggled at that point, man, it might just be free range illegal invaders coming in at that point. And perhaps they will no longer employ middle school children to go to the border anymore, like they have been doing. No, I'm not making a bar fine is all up in the oh bless. I don't mean to stay on here for a long time, to be honest with you. Because just like last night, just like the night before, and tomorrow night, well, maybe not tomorrow night, but every weekend night, I attempt to go to sleep early because I got to wake up early. All right. And I don't want to be like some of these people come out, they don't get no rest, and they're looking half dead during the day. I don't like doing that. So, but Bart flies up in the building and he says, "Hey, y'all." All right. And I do believe he stole that phrase from me, but I have no way of charging him. So I'm just going to let him keep doing it. But shout out to Georgia. I love Georgia. Hey, Bart Fine, I was just thinking about earlier today. And back when I found out and I told people and they didn't believe me. But perhaps you might have heard of this. And this is a long time. Not that I'm like dwelling upon it, but a long time ago, I had heard, and not only heard, but seen that black people in Georgia in particular, for some reason, a lot of them, not all of them, obviously, but a lot of them love to eat clay or white clay. And I've seen it. I've seen them do it. And sometimes they'll buy it in convenience stores. And the thing is, they'll eat it. And people might be weird about that, but it's got a lot of nutritious minerals in it, at least they say. And for some reason, it's only exclusive to Georgia. Nobody's ever heard of it outside of anywhere except for Haiti, in which now they're eating all the Haitians coming over eating cats, ducks, and everything else. The only other place I ever heard of people doing that was in Haiti, in which I saw a small documentary in which Haitian grandmothers would make cookies out of dirt, all right, out of dirt. And they would bake the cookies of dirt on the ground outside. It's like on the middle of the pavement, or what if they even have pavement. That's where they would bake the cookies. I don't think that's very good for you, but maybe it is. And we're getting sidetracked, and I didn't mean to do it because it's already not making sense. And I want to like go straight into it just so that you don't get confused. Please don't get confused. None of this makes any damn sense. And I'm trying to piece it all together in my mind, and I can't. because check this out, it's going to get more complicated. Witnesses then noticed, like I said, a child climb out of the car in the middle of the street. Now, how they're describing it is with just witnesses. It's making it seem as though the sheriff's office officers were not there yet. So the way they describe this part of the story is that the child backs up with the car out the parking lot, goes onto the street, figures out he messed up, stops the car, puts it in park, I guess, gets out of the car in the middle of the street, all before the sheriff's office is able to reach the location. That's how the story is being told. They said there was a crash. There was no such crash. At least that's what the story says. The deputies took that child, comma, the 3-year-old to safety. It's just poorly written. I think what they mean is the deputies took that child and the 3-year-old to safety, and that would make sense. But these people aren't trying to make sense. So they just skipped everything. It's like, okay, first of all, there were no sheriff's deputies there, but now immediately for no reason, now they just poof and appear. Now they're there, and now they take the children to safety. The children should have already been in safety because of the witnesses, obviously, unless the sheriff's officers were already there. And if they were, you don't know how to write an article. This is kind of important stuff, and you're just like mucking it all up. The witnesses told deputies, this is why I'm so damn confused, because it says the witnesses told deputies the car went forward and drove into the parking lot where it hit a curb. All right. And if this is making sense to you, please help me, please. But they wrote in the article that the car backed out. It was being driven by a 5-year-old. He stopped the car in the middle of the road. He got out of the car, and everybody was terrified. They went, scooped the children up, brought them to safety. After that is explained, the article says the witnesses told deputies the car then went forward and drove into the parking lot where it hit a curb. Am I in reality? Are you telling like two different stories at the same exact time? How do you understand this? How does anybody understand this? The witnesses realized at that time, at this exact time, the witnesses, all of them, I don't know how many, 1,000, there was 1,000 witnesses. They then realized at the time that the driver was a 5-year-old child, according to the deputies. Neither child was injured, thank God. Thank God. But I still have absolutely no idea what took place right now. So the report said deputies spoke with the children's father, Mr. Derek DeLoach Sr., who's 41 at the scene, 41-year-old. DeLoach told the sheriff's office that he left the car running. Doesn't that sound familiar? That he left the car running and the children sleeping inside of the car while he shopped for about 10 minutes. Now, the only part of this story that does kind of make sense is this part where they say Mr. Derek DeLoach was then arrested, and then that makes sense to me, was arrested on charges of child abandonment and endangerment. All right. They go on to say, to finish off the article, well, okay, I guess it's not, it's close to finish off. All right, so real quick, let me just say Child Protective Services was also called to the scene. A spokesperson from the agency confirmed on Wednesday that there is an open investigation, but was prevented by law from commenting further. Meanwhile, another local parent is not facing any charges connected. It's funny that they're talking about the other incident. I didn't know that they did this, but they do mention that another local parent is not facing any charges at all or suspicion of any wrongdoing about her 5-year-old daughter who is sleeping on the floorboard of her car for some reason. In that case, the woman told SA police that she had also left her child in her car. This is what she says, which was running, which she could very well be lying about. It's be pretty damn easy to find out as well. While she knocked on the door of now it's a relative. It used to be a friend, but now she's knocking on the door of a relative's apartment and she has to wait there for some reason. I don't know why. In a different article, in the one before, I believe they said she's trying to contact her friend. You know what? It's 2024. How about you use your damn cell phone that I know is glued to your damn hand? How about you do that? No, you can't do that. You have to go knock on the door, wait there for untold amount of minutes, and lie to us and say that you were always looking at your child. That's impossible. So she said she left it running while she knocked on the door of a relative's apartment. Yeah, I bet. See, now it's a relative's apartment. Do you or do you not live in that complex? And if you do not live in that complex, it seems to me that you're driving around with your daughter asleep on the floorboard of your car. That's what it seems to me. She said the driver for Trinity Towing picked it up so quick fast that she just said there was nothing she could do. So damn quick fast. And thank God he wasn't a kidnapper because that kidnapper would have got your child real quick. All right. But you always had eyes on her, but you never did. All right. So here's what I want to explain about this guy, the guy on the second story, is that okay, um 10 minutes. This is what he said. I hope he's being accurate. Of course, it's easy enough to find out if it was 10 minutes. 10 minutes. His 5-year-old and 3-year-old are in a car that is running. His 5-year-old, for whatever reason, knows how to drive and is capable of doing it. Perhaps he didn't know of the capabilities of his 5-year-old son. So 10 minutes. I know the people in here, they're not tripping. They know. They already well know. But if you don't know how long 10 minutes is, an exercise in finding out how long that is would be to turn off all your electronic distractions and just sit in silence. Put a timer on and sit there. Don't say anything. Don't listen to anything. Just sit there and wait for 10 minutes to pass by. What you'll realize is 10 minutes is a long mother effing time. It's very long. It's so damn long. And what I want to say before I get up out of here is that I probably am not the parent of the year or whatever. Even back, when my daughter was around, all right. Parents make mistakes. It's gonna happen because you don't know everything about everything. You just try your best. So I'm not over here like just trying to brag on myself and saying, "Oh, I deserve an MVP award." I'm not. But for example, out of the 4 years, and it was 4 whole years that I knew and resided with my daughter, I want you to guess for me. You don't really have to guess, but guess in your mind. How many times I left my daughter in a car and stepped away from the car for any reason, be it gas stations, a relative apartment in which I'm standing there for minutes at a time. How many times Did I leave my daughter in the car with it running, not running, whichever, and just F off and piss off for like any amount of time? How many times did I do that? The answer is zero. I never, ever, ever did it. And I'm not trying to brag or nothing. Like I went to gas stations and everything. I mean, these people. I know this mom over here. Oh, she's pregnant. She's 9 months pregnant. Where's the father? It does not matter. But she's 9 months pregnant. All right, so she's like, I guess incapable. Your daughter is 5 years old. It's damn near the afternoon. I don't know why your daughter is so sleepy, but she's 5 years old. Meaning, if you feel like physically incapable of picking your child up and carrying your child, she's 5 years old. She could walk. The hell is she doing down there on your floorboard? And you're trying to like accuse other people. All right. Never ever did I. Here's the reason. Call me paranoid or whatever. I do not trust people at all. And here's the thing, if I'm say with my daughter, right? If I had to walk into a store that involves me putting distance between myself and my daughter, and what's likely going to happen when I do that is that somebody, God knows who, is going to be closer in a proximity to my daughter than me. They're going to have an advantage on me, and let's say that they're insane. Maybe they're psychopaths, some bums on the street. I don't know. And I'm going to allow them to be closer to my daughter than myself. Never going to happen. I'm so tired. Oh, I'm too tired to get my daughter. I was never, ever too tired. I'll take the whole damn car seat with me. My daughter's coming with me. I don't know. I don't get this. Other than people just not giving a damn, not having quote common sense. How long is 10 minutes? It's a very long time. I hope you're being truthful and accurate. Doesn't even matter. That's too long. 30 seconds is too long. And so that's my PSA. As we're going down, this ship is going down, the country is going down, and for good reason. I believe God will prevail, good people will prevail. And if good people are listening, maybe it never dawned on them. All right. Let's say you have a child. If you will, please take my advice. Never, ever, ever leave your child in the car and go anywhere, ever. Why would you ever do that? You're in a store for 10 minutes. Do you know how much carnage could be? And that's the thing. What is more precious to you than your child? Is it the products you can get at the dollar store, sir? What is more precious to you than your child? You're leaving your child in the car for any amount of time. People are doing this. That's the thing about it. People are doing it, and more often than not, they get away with it. They get away with it. One time I remember I saw a person, I was a real quick story. I was like on a farm hanging out, and somebody else drove up and they were there at the farm as well. They were guests. They were in a car. They were like in an SUV. They got out of the car and they were chopping it up. They were like shooting the breeze and stuff out in the car. And meanwhile, their children were like in the car, and they just were sitting in the car. And I'm talking about 10, 15, maybe more minutes in the car. They weren't suffocating. The children were right there. We could see them. But meanwhile, the only thing in my head while they were talking was, why are your children in the car right now? I know we're looking at them, but they need to get out of the car. So that's my PSA, is that there's never ever a reason. And people have to be doing this all over the damn place. There's never ever a reason to leave your child in the car. You must think you're such a great parent going in there and buying these little whatever groceries. Don't ever ever do it. Now, you should have never done it. That should have never been an option to do that. However, in the times that we're in now, 2024, with all the insane, just people going insane, random bums off the street are losing it. And not only that, you have envir- you have environmental refugees, otherwise known as damn dirty savages, and they're out in the streets. You think you can keep up with your little game of just not knowing any common sense, not having apparently any responsibility, not knowing the danger of what you're freaking doing, and you think you can just continue to do that in 2024 and your baby ain't gonna get snatched up? It's ridiculous. It's quite ridiculous. But anyways, Andrew Trevino says, was very exhausted today. I tried 10 minutes in the steam room, and this is what we want to know. All right. Were you wearing any chonies up in the steam room? That's what we want to know. We'll wait for your answer. But he tried 10 minutes up in the steam room. I tapped out at about minute 6. Was too tired for even that. Hard as a mofo. I miss baby. Everybody misses baby. You cannot know baby without missing her. That's just the nature of the beast. And I gotta say, it's kind of random. On a different note, we gotta get up out of here. And I thank everybody for coming out. But I gotta get to sleep. And I also want to say, I'm getting over these allergies. And technically, the worst of it was during this past weekend. It's already almost Friday tomorrow. And my body is still feeling it a little bit in the way of being like slightly, it feels dehydrated. Now I hydrate all the time. So it's interesting that my body feels a little bit dehydrated. And in that sense, I know that my body is still dealing with whatever it is that's up in the air here in San Antonio. A lot of people are dropping like flies due to just simply the allergies that sometimes kick up. So my body was kind of weak too as well. I don't know if that might be also a little bit what you're feeling out there in the steam room, you fancy mother effer up in the damn steam room. Lord knows I love to go to the steam room. Not only not really have the funds for all that, but even if I did have the funds, I just don't have time, and I wish I did. That sounds wonderful. Although if you're feeling dehydrated like myself, you might fall out in the steam room. So Andrew Trevino says, always wear them in there. Gotta always wear the chonies up in the steam room. All right. Because if you do not, that's basically a wide open invitation. All right. That you don't want to be sending out. So, but I was feeling a little bit weak, and I'm feeling progressively better. Like I went outside earlier today, you guys, man, I went to the park and just for only about 30 minutes, I got some burpee action. Not only some burpee action, but a little bit of the pull up action. There's a pull up bar out there. And so for about 30 minutes, I got that on, playing it cool because I did not want to push myself too hard. All right. And that's one thing that I want to put out there. Maybe it might be useful, maybe it's not. But in my opinion, when you're feeling, say, run down and maybe sick a little bit, you might want to catch Macho Madness. All right. For the ladies' sake, you might want to do that. But in my experience, take it easy. Do it halfway. That's what I did. All right. And I built up a hell of a sweat too, but I considered it halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way, because I feel like, if you're sick, and trust me, Bill Gates can't wait to drop a disease on you. You know how many mosquitoes he's got out there, little robot mosquitoes? So that's why I'm bringing it up. is that, if you're still feeling a little bit sick, let's say you went 100%. Let's say you went 110% Macho Madness. I feel and I've experienced that could like bring back on, that might be a little bit too traumatic for one's body. And the smart thing to do may not be the sexy thing to do, but the smart thing for my money is doing a halfway workout. That way you don't run yourself down too much, but also you get the benefits of getting in motion, sweating a little bit, detoxing some of that sweat about you, and that might get you to perhaps even feel better even quicker. That's what the hell I was doing. And I hope that tomorrow I'll feel even better. But let's say I didn't feel better. Let's say I felt worse. Well, that's an interesting sign that I should take note of. And I should carefully chart the progress of my illnesses and my getting better, because 100% my priority, and perhaps some of y'all out there, would be to get better. you know, because with the chaos and the carnage and the lawlessness that we are already experiencing, but we're going to experience it much, much more. You don't exactly want to be all run down and sick for longer than you have to be. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Y'all, everybody, do whatever you can. I don't care how many horses you got to steal from. Get you some horse paste. All right. And let's do some illegal, immoral stuff with it. Talking about ivermectin. That wasn't a good joke, but you know, I don't know any good jokes. All right. I gotta get up out of here. All right. It's way past my expiration. And I appreciate the shit out y'all. All right. And tomorrow I do plan to be back again. And also after this, I'll probably upload some karaoke. I've been doing the karaoke. Hell yeah. Your boy getting down with the karaoke, y'all. It is September the 12th. There is no September 11th, you son of a bitch. 2020, 2020, 2024, and I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.